Hi everyone, Lisa Soames-Peck from Spellbound Miniatures here. Welcome to our YouTube channel and the tutorial for the first floor extension. We're going to show you how to change this into this, and this is part of our modular system, so you can put this on the witch's cottage, the Christmas cabin. It's actually standalone as well, and you can put any of our roof systems on it. So let's dive in and I'll show you how to make it. Okay, so there's a couple of options, especially for the front window wall. With the first floor extension basic file, you get the 2 window option, but we're also going to show you today how to make the French door and Juliet balcony option. That's available as a separate file, but in August we're going to bundle them together for you so you can have both options. So all of our buildings follow the exact same principle, so I'll show you very quickly how they go together, and then I'll explain to you how we decorate them and in what order and why. So if you don't want to do that and you just want to know which bits go where, I'll cover that first, and then you can get on and decorate it how you like. So we always have the floor and the ceiling are just your standard sort of the largest pieces that you'll find in the SVG, and it's square. So they're the largest, and this is going to be the front wall. So whether you're going for the 2 window option or the French door option, the front wall sits at the front onto the base. The back wall is the exact same dimensions as the front wall. I'm using the frame option again here, so you can look through from the back. You'll see, I'll explain this weird painting later. So that would go on the back. Again, these go in the middle, sort of widthways. Can you see that there? So we're going to put these on, and then you have to leave a little 2mm gap either side, because that's where the sides go on. Again, this is a little bowed, so I'll have to straighten it out and weigh it down while I glue it. And this side goes on the other side. And then if you wanted to, you put the ceiling on the top, and it kind of creates a cube. So that's why they're very strong. And I've decorated mine before I build it. I just find that so much easier, especially, so this is our Herringbone Floor. There's a file for that on the website, just on craft board, and I cut it to the size. You could do that in the maker itself. Glued that down and pressed it. The frame back piece is painted. This is the interior to match the wallpaper. The exterior, I'm going to do the exact same as we did on the witch's cottage and the room box. And this is some frame layers. I don't know if you'll be able to see those. Where are we? There. In craft board, they're included in the file. You just glue them and layer them up, and can glue that on there. And that's why when you see these odd bits of black, because it's brown chipboard and I want black craft board, even if you glued it edge to edge, you will sometimes see the base colour peeking out. So I like to just go around my edges and colour them in with acrylic paint. I used a standard acrylic paint for that, straight onto the chipboard, no priming. So that will be the back frame. So again, that sits on the back centrally, allowing for the 2mm pieces of the sides either side. One of our side walls is plain, and I am going to be putting skirting and coving on here, so hence why I've also done that. So I'll just say it again, the sides just sit on the base, and you'll see I've left a gap here because the back and the front sit on the base and the sides go up to them. We want to keep this edge free so the glue can actually stick on the material, the base material itself. So that's why on the back it goes edge to edge, because that fits on sideways. But always have a dry fit, play around so you're happy in your own head which way it goes. And so the two side pieces there both have the gap. Can you see that? Just running along that edge where I haven't decorated it. And the French door is probably the most complicated version. So you could just do the plain window walls. You could do the French door and not hinge it. You could glue it in fixed. It's the hinging that takes a little bit of working out. So if you are just going to do the plain windows, and you could do 2 window walls in the side if you want. No window walls, just have the solid sides because you're having windows in the front. It's up to you. The whole point of an SVG is you've got everything you need and you can mix and match. Now this isn't glued in place, it's just sort of held in, and you'll see also I've taken the black paint onto the inside of that window, so when you put the windows in you don't get a little white or the wallpaper showing through. And our windows are exactly the same, you just get the layers in the SVG, you layer them up however many you want to. Then there are the little cross pieces, and these are designed for, let me get my other, where's my other window? Okay, found it. The windows are designed so that, for this one I've put 3 layers of craft board each side, so that's 6 per window, and they fit either side and trap the plastic or glass between them. And so the sort of sticking out, you probably can't see those on here, the little cross shapes there go in and locate into these and sort of hold the window. If you imagine if that went up now, the little cross pieces actually go into the gap and hold that in place. If you want to check out the Witch's Cottage where I go into this in more detail, I'll put the link now on at the top of the screen, but I don't want to keep going over the same thing every video. So we put the little crosses in, and you can put more or less of those depending on how thick your glazing material is. So I always use 2 of the crosses and 3 layers for the window frame. And then if you imagine, we would put glue just on the outside here, and we could do it down the middle. We would put that in to the frame, and it locates where those sort of crosses go into there, and you can tell when it's all flat. And then we would put in our glazing material, and you can cut this on the Cricut if you want. That's the blue part of the SVG, that fits in there. And then this one, make sure you've got the crosses on the inside, locates into that side, and you would glue that down. I've only got glass in one side, it's 1mm perspex, and then you can just see there's a glazed window. It's as simple as that. So that's craft board, and I did cut out 2 extra bits because when it was just sort of the flat frame, it did look a bit flat, so I cut out 2 extra single sort of windows and just left a gap there. Can I get the light on that? I'll put a photo up and you can see where I had the black sort of top layer on the brown craft board window frame, and you'll see there's a little gap there that in person it just gives a hint of windows that would open, which is why I've done that. So you would do that if you're on your front wall, you might have 2 single windows. That's as simple as that. And I've coloured the tops black because if you imagine in the system where the roof lifts off, I don't put a ceiling on here. I use the floor above as my ceiling. So because I like to be able to take the roof off and sort of photograph and look into the box from the top. If you want to put a ceiling on here, you don't need to do that. You can just access it from the back. But because I like to take photos, I like the top clear. So I just want a consistent colour around the top of my box. So that's why, oh, you can't really see that there. I've painted those all black, so they all go in with the external decor there. So another thing that you'll want to think about, and you can see I've left gaps here because this is that scrapbook paper that comes in pads, and it's often double-sided, so it's a nice thick paper. And it just so happens that in the size that pad that I buy that has the scale print that I want, it's just slightly short of the room sizes. So it's easy peasy to make some skirting boards, baseboards, cornicing on the Cricut to cover that up. And I like to do mine again while it's flat so that you can press it and it's easy. Then if it was up and it's in a room, and actually I'm going to take these out because they're not glued in yet. If it was in a room and then you're trying to fit it in around a corner, that's more difficult. So while we've got it flat, it's nice and easy. There is a tutorial on the channel how to create these yourselves. They're just rectangles, and the only thing to think about is with something that's got more depth, as it goes around a corner, it would push. If you imagine, if we got another piece here, let me get a thicker one. If we were going to put one on this corner now, you can see if I line it up to this edge here, this on this wall would push that over. So you've just got to bring it in slightly. This is going to be a mil thick, so bring it in by a mil so that then when you glue the side wall on with its own skirting on, there's no gaps and they don't push each other out. So that's the only other thing. However many layers of this you want to do, I've got two. I just have 2 layers. It just creates just a visual sort of bit of detail. So I know that that is going to recess by about a millimetre each end. So I'll cut that, and I did a slightly thicker for the baseboards and then slightly less for the coving, and you see it just finishes the room off. So I'm going to glue those, cut them to size and glue those on and press them before I actually construct the walls, the whole building itself.